Hi there, thanks for joining us. Welcome back to our Stony Creek journey. I've been off farm for a couple of days, went down to Melbourne to visit the kids and went to a very special friend's birthday party. Happy birthday, Robin. So I've just come home and Robert's just showing me around what's been happening, and we're going to go and have a look at bits and pieces. We had a sad week last week and Robert will explain about that. He's done a few videos while I've been away and I'll pop those together and you can see what's been happening on the farm. But we're back in action. Thanks for joining.
Hello, Whiteface. We didn't have a very good week with the sheep, or over the weekend with the sheep. We went away to a funeral over the weekend, and when we came back I went and checked everybody and I found one of our lambs from last year had died, and it looked like it had actually been attacked, and because it had a few gashes in it. I won't go into any more gory details, but it didn't look good. And then I didn't really think much of it apart from bugger. I buried him, and then that afternoon I went and checked them again, and another one of the lambs from last year, our Claude, our ram lamb that we were keeping for a breeding ram, and he didn't look very good at all. And when I checked his gums and his eyelids, he looked very anemic. So I sort of put two together and thought Barbers pole worm, and I went down and back to the house and got some drench and drenched him, and then I found another ewe lamb that didn't look very well, so I drenched her as well. I didn't have enough to do them all at that point in time, so I raced into town and got some more drench, and came back and set up all the yards and gave them a drench. There's baby Rambo, and they look pretty good now. I'm happy with them. I'm disappointed I missed the Barbers pole diagnosis at the start. I might have been able to save Claude, which is a shame, because remember, Claude was the ram that broke his leg and we'd splintered it, and it's actually quite good now. But anyway, Claude's no more, and we'll have to try again next year, but they're looking pretty good. I didn't expect to have to drench them so soon after the last drench, which was around about was on the 30th of December. And then about 3 weeks after that I had a worm burden count done, and that came back really good. So that was the last thing on my mind, was that they were infected with worms. So Barber's pole is a pretty nasty parasite. It basically sucks their blood and they become anemic and die, and it can happen within a couple of days of an infestation. The older girls build up a bit of a resistance to them, and but the younger sheep haven't had that exposure or resistance level increased in them, so it can hit them pretty hard and quick. So lesson learnt. Hard lesson to do, but we keep learning as we go along. They still love me, that's the main thing. Whiteface didn't like me for a couple of days after we drenched her. she wouldn't let me pat her. But I'm happy with them now. We've moved them into a new paddock, and they're very contented. I didn't see them for 2 days because the grass was so long, but they're very happy now, so I'll just keep an eye on them. Cheers. It's quite a hot afternoon. What day is it? It's Saturday today, and there's never an end of projects to do around the place. This is the site where we're going to put up our cool room. So there's going to be a cutting room out the front, and the cool room will duck around the corner. Only a small room, 2.4 long and 1200 wide, and then the cutting room through here, and that'll be about 2.4 wide, and a little veranda out the front, and a hot water service out the back, and a little refrigeration unit. But do this, I rang up the concreter and he said he could come tomorrow and box it out. So I'm not going to, now I have to clean all this out and find a new location for it all. So, which is over here by the water tank. So I'll make a neatish pile there until I get to use and restock it and reuse it up. But just thought I'd show you what's happening out the back of the shed here. So now I'll have to get the dingo out because I need to make this, the back of the cool room, a little bit wider, so shave off a little bit of this hill, and I'll have to put in a spoon drain across the back that'll take water, which is we ran laser levels on it. There's only one spot that holds water, and that's just where I'm pointing now. So, but I'll be able to cut a bit out of here and push it down into here and see how we go. So we should be able to get the water out the back easily, and it flows down towards the tree, which talking of the trees, they're looking really good at the moment. Over summer and when it was dry, they must drop all their leaves, but they're just coming back in, producing lots and lots of leaves, so they're looking really nice at the moment. So this is after we've completed the boxing and the formwork for the slab for the chopping room, and as I said before, the little cool room will duck in underneath the shed and sit under there. So that's come up really nice. So the plan is to pour next Saturday, I think it is. We're going to plan on pouring that, so we'll see what that comes up well. And this back section here, I had to take a bit more material out and use it to form up the base of the concrete slab. So that's gonna flow nicely out through there to get rid of any excess water around the back here. So it's looking good. Keep you posted.
Out in the garden harvesting, been off farm for a couple of days and it's going beautifully. This tomato here, I've only got a couple of them, but it was called a brandywine pink, and it looks lovely. I don't think it goes very red, I think it stays pink, but that looks good. And some of the Marconi peppers are starting to go red. We've got a few that got sunburnt, but they're starting to look good. And beans, we've got climbing beans, we've got purple beans, but also getting some of our snake beans that are really long. Heaps of tomatoes, cucumbers by the miles, and still a few zucchinis, so good pick for the morning. Nice summer harvest.
Here's the boys, Tom, Dick and Harry, eating corn. So I did a bit of an experiment and I planted a few different crops quite a while ago now, and that was rape, turnip, and I think a radish, a pasture radish, and it didn't coincide with when I got the boys anyway, so most of it went to seed, which is actually growing back in the paddock. And I grew a bit of corn for them, you know, mate, and they actually love it. So next year I'm going to keep growing Jerusalem artichokes and corn. The other ones are a bit too hard to manage, but I'll plant the brassicas that I got for their pasture crop in their pig areas that they renovate. And they've done a really good job up the top here. And it won't take much to flatten it all down a bit and clean it up. And they've left a lot of the rubbish grasses that they're not eating, so I know what they don't eat. But down here as well, there was a lot of good. They're following me. There was a lot of plants in here that they liked, so I know what they are. So I'll plant more of them, and I'll just keep renovating this paddock with pigs and see how they come up. But I think next year just doing the corn might be helpful. I've neglected the cows today. I've been busy with doing other things, but I always like and enjoy sitting down with them. And they get really inquisitive when you just sit there and don't move for a little while. They come up and say hello. it's a nice way to end the day.
We'll end this video here, and as we said goodbye to Larry and Claude this week, we said hello to 2 new chicks. Our speckled Sussex hens, we've got 2 of them. They just love being mamas. You can set them on eggs and they hatch away. So there's a couple more little chicks. And this time we've got a little bit, will be a light Sussex, which is good because we haven't had any of those for a little while. And then we've got another chook on, another 3 or 4 more. So thanks for watching, and until next week, we'll see you back on the farm.